So after the tragedy of Germanwings Flight 9525's crash, of course, conservatives had to weigh in with their conspiracy theories and speculation as to what might have happened. In reality, what happened was German co-pilot Andreas Lubitz, who's 28 years old, for whatever reason, according to investigators, decided to lock himself inside the cockpit, would not allow the more experienced pilot back in, and directed the plane down to the ground where it crashed. We don't know why he did it. That's not going to stop Pat Robertson from speculating about who he might be. Let's watch.
What a terrible tragedy. Was that co-pilot a Muslim? Was he suicidal? What was it about him?
Only a couple of options, right? Either suicidal or Muslim. I don't get it. He's German, does not compute. A good Christian wouldn't do that. It only could be Muslims, right? Now, look, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Well, it's usually the Muslims. Although apparently sometimes it's the Germans or the Norwegians. Breivik killed more people in Europe than almost anyone has in a long, long time. But when they do it, it's a lone weirdo German. It's a lone weirdo Norwegian. When a Muslim does it, gotta be the Muslims, right? Now, would you really tolerate it if it was any other religion or ethnicity? Can you imagine if Pat Robertson said, is he a Jew? He's not a Jew. That's weird, right? Can you imagine after the banking scandal in 2008, Pat Robertson or anyone asked, was it the Jews? That would be horrific. It's a terrible stereotype, and we would all be repulsed by that. Why are we not repulsed when it's about the Muslims? I mean, look at this. Look at the second part of his speculation.
What a terrible thing, and we'll find out what happened to him. Was he just psychotic? What was it? What was it? Why would he want to kill all those people? But he did.
Now, of course, that's true. The reality is when people kill up to 150 people, as this pilot did, it is psychotic. But when it's a non-Muslim, it's put in the category of psychotic. When it is a Muslim, it is not put in that category. It's put in the category of Muslim, right? Look, again, I know why people do it. There have been terrorist attacks involving Muslims, and so people want to classify in that direction. But unfortunately, this is also the heart of discrimination. This is how when you start separating races, you start separating religions, and then all of a sudden everybody starts to look at Muslims with a wary eye and start to look at them as if they might all be guilty, right? You think you wouldn't do it, except the first question that comes up is, was he a Muslim? I bet you Pat Robertson isn't alone in that. I would tend to guess that a lot of people ask that question. So on the one hand, I understand, yes, there have been a lot of Muslims who have done terrorist acts, but there have been a ton of non-Muslims who have done mass shootings, terrorist attacks. There are more right-wing domestic terrorists in America than Muslim terrorists. Those are cases according to our own government, but yet we never classify them as right-wing or white or Christian. So let's just look at the stereotypes that is being put out there, whether it's by conservatives or by the media, and check ourselves. Because I think that we are putting out that message that's an ugly message, and unfortunately it's being done far too often. In this case, as in all the cases where you have these mass killings, the reality is there was something wrong with the guy, and it didn't have anything to do with his religion or his race.